Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about crowdfunding and how to raise money successfully when it comes to a crowdfunding campaign. And specifically, today I want to get into how Indiegogo works. I'm going to break it down, make it very simple for you so you can understand how Indiegogo works and more importantly, how you can use it. And if you enjoy these style of videos, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know coming to this YouTube channel, whether you're a new subscriber or someone who's been watching me for a while, please give me a thumbs up. But without further ado, let's get into today's YouTube video. Okay, so today we are talking about the crowdfunding platform, which is Indiegogo. And for those of you who don't know, they've been in the industry since 2012. So if you know a lot of the evolution of Indiegogo, the way it's evolved over time, and also it's obvious its competitors out there, Kickstarter, Seed and Spark, etc. Many other rewards-based crowdfunding platforms that have come and gone over the years. Possible, right? Based in Australia. So many interesting platforms. So today we're talking about Indiegogo, okay? And when we're talking about Indiegogo, there are a couple different things that we're going to want to be aware of. But first, what I'm going to do with this video is just go through the basics. Keep it very simple, very easy, and break this down for you so you understand how to use this. Then we're going to get into some more of the specifics, what this means for you, and we'll cap this off with whether or not you should do a campaign. So first of all, Indiegogo is a crowdfunding website, and actually one of the first that's ever been launched in human history, online at least, right? So this is one of the crowdfunding websites that are out there, and you can use this in order to get projects funded. So the actual purpose of Indiegogo is to help you utilize what's called crowdfunding in order to get your project funded. Now, with every Indiegogo campaign, there are a couple different key similarities. So one of the first similarities here is the fact that there is a funding goal or a fundraising goal of some kind. That fundraising goal is usually what you need to hit or need to exceed in order to have a project happen, for it to happen in the real world. You're trying to do a comic book, you need to raise funds. This is how much you need to get the project going. You're trying to do a physical product or a tech gadget or something like that. This is the actual amount that you need to raise in order to get this going. If you're trying to do something more creative in nature, like a book, this is how much you need. So you have a funding goal. So every single project out there on Indiegogo has a funding goal. And I'll be talking about how this kind of plays into the actual Indiegogo campaign. The other thing that every campaign has on Indiegogo is some kind of a funding duration, okay? So this duration is typically around, I'd say about 30 days. It can go as long as 60 days. Typically it's usually in the 20 to 30, maybe 35, 40 day category. It's usually kind of in that sweet spot. So what is this? This is basically how long you're going to be running your fundraising campaign. So what ends up happening is with an Indiegogo campaign, the way that you use this site is that you're gonna pick what is my funding goal, what is my funding duration, how long I'm going to be live on this actual crowdfunding campaign website, which is Indiegogo. And during that time, people can fund your campaign, they can claim perks and rewards, which I'm going to get into next, and they can move your funding meter up and up towards your goal. And that creates a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement. It's much more easy then for you to also get other people involved in what you're doing. So you have a cause or something you're trying to raise money for, which we'll get into in a second. But one of the other key commonalities here with Indiegogo is that there are rewards, also known as perks, okay? So one of the common things, if you're gonna be using Indiegogo to raise money for a new project or for new products or something you're coming out with, right? And you're trying to raise those funds and you have a certain duration in which you're raising money. Why are people gonna give you money? Why would a stranger online decide to actually give you money? The reason is perks and rewards. So when people actually donate, quote unquote, and really become a backer, or they actually become a contributor, if you want to use the word, they become a supporter of your campaign, they get access to exclusive perks and rewards. Now, those perks and rewards are usually creative things that you come up with. For example, if you're producing a new film, let's just say, and trying to raise maybe $50,000 to do that film, you could then decide, hey, in exchange for giving $1,000, I'm gonna give you a producer's credit, right? Or in exchange for giving this amount, I'm gonna give you the ability to contribute a line of dialogue to the script. Or I'm gonna have you be in the line of the credits, right? So you can come up with ideas, perks and rewards you can include, so when people back your campaign on Indiegogo or they pledge to it, they actually can get access to these exclusive perks and rewards. If it's a physical product, let's say like a digital product or even like a technology gadget or a gizmo, maybe they actually get to own this product at the end of the day, which is actually one of the reasons why people love supporting tech and gadget related campaigns on Indiegogo, is that they can actually own the product at the end of the day. In addition to these perks and rewards, which we have here, then you have other things that come into play when it comes to a campaign. So typically you also have other assets, which are a video and a story. And this story is communicating what it is that you're doing when it comes to this campaign. What is the project which you're coming out with? What is this new comic book which you're making? What is this new board game that you're making? What is this new technology gadget, this new novel that you're writing? There's some kind of a pitch video, which you explain kind of the inner workings of the project and what you're trying to actually accomplish, what people get at the end of the day as well. And there's also a story, which is a campaign page that goes much more in depth into what you're actually trying to do with that particular campaign and why you need those funds specifically. When you decide to actually launch an Indiegogo campaign, you have to fit into one of the major categories that are out there. So along with the video and story, we also have what are called categories, okay? So you need to fit into a particular category. Some of the categories off the top of my head are creative, they're more tech and design, and then there's sort of social impact or community good categories that are more along the lines of like a nonprofit cause in that way. So typically, if you're launching a campaign, number one, you have to fit into one of these particular categories, but also it's gonna kind of guide as well with the actual audiences that you're gonna access on Indiegogo, because Indiegogo as a platform is a huge marketplace of people that are regularly supporting specific types of campaigns. So you're gonna decide which category does my project actually fit in, and that's gonna really inform a lot of your marketing strategy and as well your overall reach when it comes to the Indiegogo ecosystem. So we talked a tiny bit about some of the different elements of Indiegogo and using this crowdfunding platform. So you have an idea of what you need to do at least when it comes to setting up a campaign. You gotta pick a goal, a duration, have rewards and perks, have a video, have a story, and also have a category which your project actually fits in. Once you know that and you kind of understand the basics a tiny bit, there's so much strategy that goes into it. So I talk about on my YouTube channel, I talk about my podcast, I talk about in my books that are out there, right? There's tons of stuff that actually goes into the strategy behind these, but at least you know the high level right now. Now, when it comes to this, the question is, how does Indiegogo actually get compensated? How does this work? And also, when you actually go live, what are some of the things that you should know about? Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillment is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillment today. Link in the description. So first of all, there are two types of funding on Indiegogo, okay? There's what's called fixed and there is flexible. Okay, so I'll go into what these are and also kind of explain a little bit there. But when it comes to fixed and flexible, they both take a 5% platform fee plus credit card processing fees, okay? So if you're gonna be running a campaign on Indiegogo, the platform itself is gonna be taking a 5% fee, and that's whether you're doing a fixed or a flexible funding campaign. In addition, there's credit card processing fees to go along with that. So that's just something that you should be aware of, but what is the difference between fixed and flexible? So fixed is very similar to another website out there, which is called Kickstarter. So you wanna think of fixed as almost all or nothing. And what that means is that if you have a funding goal, let's just say you set a $10,000 funding goal, you need to hit or exceed that goal in order to keep the funds which you've raised. So for example, if you only raised $5,000, you got a $10,000 goal, that means you can't actually keep those funds. And all the people that have backed the campaign and the campaign ends after the funding duration goes out, then they're gonna actually get refunded, right? And the project's basically not moving forward. That's a fixed actual campaign. And I have different videos out there explaining the difference between fixed and flexible in much more depth. When it comes to a flexible funding campaign, this is when you have a $10,000 goal, but if you only, let's just say, raise $5,000, you can still keep those funds which have been raised. So you don't necessarily have to hit or exceed your goal in order to have those funds deposited into your bank account. And those backers or those supporters or those contributors, they're gonna have their credit cards charged, and that money is gonna be deposited into your account. Along with these types of funding, which you can then raise money for on Indiegogo, there are also different stages which you have as a project. So I'm gonna write these down here, just a couple of them. So these are different product stages, okay? So you have concept stage, which is really just an idea. You also have prototype. You have the actual physical prototype or product, but maybe not mass producing it yet. You then have production, which is when you're actually undergoing production with the actual product. And finally, you have shipping, when you're regularly shipping out this product. And that's really when you're kind of getting more into e-commerce mode, I would say, when you're actually delivering on those orders on a consistent basis. Depending on which stage you decide to launch in, that's first of all gonna determine, you're gonna have to have certain different qualifications based on the stages and actually show proof, right? If you're in manufacturing, you're in production, you have to show proof of that. You're in shipping, you have to show proof of that to the actual Indiegogo team to get that status. But in addition, it's gonna inform in terms of backers what type of crowdfunding campaign they are supporting. Are they supporting a campaign when it's just the prototype stage? Are they supporting a campaign when it's just an idea in someone's head, just a concept? concept stage? Is it already in the shipping mode? So it's kind of a much lower risk, and they're pretty much guaranteed to get their product at the end of the day once they actually support this campaign. This is really going to inform the expectations of backers when they come to the Indiegogo campaign, which you have set up. Now, in running an Indiegogo campaign, I would be remiss not to talk about the actual live stage of a campaign, which I talk a heck of a lot about on this channel and also on my podcast, the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast, available on iTunes, Spotify, etc. And also put out a lot of free content there. So you have, for example, kind of the bare bones of what you need to know in terms of fixed versus flexible, the fees, the different stages. You have the different variables that go into an actual campaign here. What you're missing is kind of ways in which you can engage backers while you're live, and why they actually do this. Why do they actually support crowdfunding campaigns, right? So one thing that you want to be aware of are what are called updates, and the other thing is community. Okay, so updates are kind of like blog posts, and I love writing, man. Blog posts are super cool. I have a blog, crowdcrux.com, that I started in 2012 about crowdfunding, and updates are kind of a way in which you can inform backers about new news that's coming about when it comes to your project after the campaign is actually funded, and as well when you're going through the actual campaign phase to celebrate milestones, to ask them questions, to keep the community engaged. So Indiegogo has a feature when it comes to updates, and then community is really just people have the ability to leave comments on your Indiegogo campaign with questions, with encouragement, and you can interact with those backers there. And it kind of has its own mini community feel. So a lot of people that are actually supporting campaigns are supporting them typically in the prototype stage. You also have campaigns obviously being supported in production and shipping, and some campaigns in the concept stage. But for a lot of crowdfunding's history, it's really been about creators wanting to make something new, and backers actually rallying around that creator. They love that design, they love that idea, they love that prototype that the person's put together, and they're actually willing to help them make it, right? Even new stuff like the Oculus Rift, that's a great example of something that actually started with a crowdfunding campaign, right? There's so many examples of that. Exploding Kittens, right? And card games, Cards Against Humanity, etc. So many cool new products have come about because of crowdfunding and because of people believing in that product. So updates and community are actually a super powerful way to keep people in the story of your campaign as it is unveiling. Okay, so some of the final things that I want to mention on this video when we are explaining Indiegogo is why people do this. Why the heck do people actually do these campaigns? So there's a couple of things for you to take away. I'd say that when it comes to doing an Indiegogo campaign, the biggest one obviously is funding, right? People love to get funding for their ideas. They love to get funding when it comes to their prototype. It really de-risks the whole, I guess, burden, if you will, or risk of an entrepreneur or a creator side bringing something new into the market. But it's kind of like validation, which is my next point. People also like campaigns because it gets you validation in the actual marketplace. So validation that you should spend another year of your life, or you should spend another 6 months of your life, or you spend more and more time on this actual campaign. I actually had a podcast recently where someone was like, I just made an entire career shifting decision. I decided to change the trajectory of my career, going from a doctor to actually setting up this whole e-commerce business because of the demand which I saw with my crowdfunding campaign. So you also get validation. The other thing I would say is that you really build a tribe. You build a community of people that are excited to own your product, that are excited to get involved with whatever it is that you're doing, they're enthusiastic as you are about your passion. And how freaking cool is that? Another one that I would say here when it comes to this is getting feedback. So getting feedback on your actual product is kind of hard, man. I mean, getting people to actually give you honest feedback. I'm talking about, beyond your friends and family, have people give you honest feedback is very difficult. And that's another huge benefit when it comes to crowdfunding. The final thing that I will mention and will cap this video is the fact that, man, shipping timeline is very different than if you're doing an Amazon store. So you have much more leniency when it comes to shipping. And it's because people are much more understanding. You're basically creating a whole new product from scratch. You're doing something no one's ever done before. And because of that, you're really trying to create something new, and shipping is going to be a much longer duration than it would be with Amazon. Amazon is like 1 or 2 days, right? You're getting it very quickly. But when it comes to crowdfunding, this is going to be a longer duration over a long period of time. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. If you did, give me a thumbs up on this video. In addition, I got a free resource for you, man, if you want to learn more about crowdfunding. So if you want to learn more about crowdfunding, go and check out my free newsletter, Killer Crowdfunding Tips, which you can check out at a link down below at crowdcrux.com/newsletter. That link will take you there. You can enter your name, email, and you start getting weekly emails from me on great stuff that I'd love to share with you when it comes to what's trending, new tools, new strategies that are out there when it comes to raising money with crowdfunding. I think you're gonna like that a lot. And I also got some other free course links down below, which you can check out. But this is your first time, please come subscribe to this channel. Let me know you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.